Welcome everybody to our May CTE Teach webinar. This one is called You've Got Goals, and we're featuring the marvelous mentor, Elena Hernandez, who will be on here a second. And those of you who know her, she'll be an old familiar face to you. Those of you who don't, you're in for a real treat. And so, Grant, I'll let you go ahead and kind of share what our webinar norms are for us.
All right, so just like the usual, we know these. I can roll through them pretty quick. Me and Mike just kind of check in on that from time to time. Sometimes we get them unmuted and we don't know why, but it happens. And then us as facilitators, we're like scrambling, trying to figure out who it is. So just check it. And then as far as attendance goes, make sure your name and everything is correct. If for some reason you're logging in under somebody else, then rename yourself. And if you don't know how to do that, feel free to ask one of us. And then in the chat too, we monitor that pretty frequently. So if you have questions as we're going through time today, put those in the chat, or feel free to raise a hand as we're going through. And usually the chat's the best thing, just because we can go back and look through that after the fact too, to make sure that we got everybody.
Perfect. And then lastly, and I don't remember if you said this already, we do record these because we'd like to throw them up on our channel for you guys to view later. So because this is great information worth sharing. So it is being recorded. Grant and I'll have you do this as well.
So time for today, things that we've got going on for basics. So trying to look at number one there, the color brain. How well does your brain remember colors? Interesting.
He doesn't know what that is, so you guys will find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. Number two is mentor chats. We're going to do what we normally do with some FaceTime, give you an opportunity to just connect and touch base with each other. And then the meat of everything for today is in number three, where we're going to talk about goals, because it's really that time of year, right, when we should start thinking about what's going to happen next year. And so we figured want to talk about that a little bit. And then at the end, as we always do, we'll give some program updates for this year and a little more foreshadowing for next year, and just roll from there.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, so we will dive right into, and we're going to do a quick game. This is called Color Brain. It's kind of just a fun activity to play. You can even do this with your students as well. This is based on a board game. And this is the Disney version of it. We play this at home. I play this with students. And so what it is I'm going to ask you to log into a Mentimeter in just a sec here. And in fact, I can do that now. I don't know why I'm waiting. There we go. Okay, so you're going to go to menti.com. You can use your phone. You can use a second screen, whatever you want. And then you're going to type in the code that's at the very top there. So it is 9332 6760. When you play this game in person, what it does is it gives you like a set of cards that are just a color: red, blue, green, yellow, and so on. And it asks you a question like, for example, what color is Peter Pan's hat? And then you would put down like your green card and the red card, and that, trying to remember what his color of his hat is. So wait till a few of you more in. So can everybody see on their device this screen there? Got a couple head nods. Very cool. All right, so let's move on. So as I said, you're going to select what is the primary color of Mickey Mouse's shorts. Without cheating, I know some of you have Mickey decor on your desk. What is the primary color of his shorts? We got a red, pretty good. A couple of blues, a couple of blacks, mostly reds. Very well. And the answer is, it is red. The primary color of Mickey Mouse's shorts is red. So now you kind of get the idea. That was the easy one. So we're going to kick it up just a slight notch here. What two colors are Flounder from The Little Mermaid? I'm not going to tell you who that character is. Don't Google it. Just using the colors of your brain, what are the two primary colors of Flounder from The Little Mermaid? Some of you are saying, who is Flounder? Yeah, we got a white, a blue, yellow, orange, purple. Good guesses. All right, let's see the answer. You guys are going to go, oh, that's right. He's primarily blue and yellow. There we go. Like, oh, that's right. All right, being a little bit harder now. What are the 3 buttons on Buzz Lightyear's vest from Toy Story? So think about Buzz Lightyear. You got Woody and Buzz. Buzz has 3 buttons on his little vest right here. What color are those 3 buttons? Again, if you happen to have Toy Story decor in your office, I guess you can use that to your advantage. So you have a green, gold, red, yellow. Good. A lot of greens. And you can pick multiple colors. So just whatever colors you think they are, you want to choose them. You guys ready for the answer? Here we go. Oh, another person coming. All right, the answer is green or blue, green, and red. You'll never forget that. Next time you watch Toy Story, or if you're going to watch Buzz in the theater this summer, blue, green, and red. Those are the 3 colors. All right, here we go. Hardest one yet. What are the 5 colors of Mrs. Potts from Beauty and the Beast? So you can choose all 5 of those colors. Which are they? Put Mrs. Potts in your brain. Singing Tale as Old as Time, Angela Lansbury.
Goodness, 5 colors.
Yeah. We got white, we got pink. There's 3 more. Some people are Googling it right now.
Purple. I think purple.
Possibly.
Oh, some people are saying it only lets them pick 1 color.
Oh, it's only you pick. You should be able to pick multiples. It's not letting you? Oh, well, fail on the designer then. My bad. Okay, so the next time we do this, I'll make sure I do it for multiple colors. There's an option to do that. My bad. I had this grandiose idea in my mind. Totally failed at it. All right, well, thank you for sharing that. A teachable moment. Not every lesson plan goes according to plan, but her colors are white, yellow, purple, pink, blue, orange would be acceptable as well. Throw in there, and there's Mrs. Potts. So, all right, bonus question. Now, since it'll let you pick one, what are the 3 colors of the CTE Teach logo? Ta-da! We got red in there. So we're going to make this a group effort. So there's 3 colors. Some of you pick 1 color. Some of you pick the other color. We have 8 reds, 1 black. All right, let's see. The answer is, it is red, gold, and green. We always forget about that green leaf up there. So thank you all for playing. That is Color Brain. Again, something you can do in your class if you think about. If you're teaching a subject, and they have to memorize colors, this is kind of a fun way to do it, especially if it's a logo or anything like that. So it's very cool. All right. Well, Grant, I will turn it over to you.
Yes, this is one of the cool parts of today that we've kept going throughout this whole year. And this is that time to just connect with others. We hear some pretty powerful things out of this. So we're going to take about 10 minutes. And in that time period, we're going to get put into some breakout rooms. Y'all are going to get an opportunity just to connect with each other. And then we're going to come back together and debrief. So if you want, you can share mentoring successes or challenges. If you have an idea on some goals stuff that might tee us up for what Elena is going to share with us, then you can talk about that. but those three main things should probably take us well into the 10 minutes. Feel free to introduce yourself if you don't know the folks who are going to be in your rooms, and where you're from, what you have taught, how you came into CTE, and then spend the rest of that time talking about those successes, challenges, or anything that's really top of brain. And then we're going to come back. So be prepared to share out some of those things that you hear in your rooms.
Welcome back, everyone. So before we turn it over to Grant, I have to share this. Here's the mistake. So if you go to make your own Mentee Color Brain game, you have to click this little button that says let participants choose multiple options. I did not know that was there till just now. So now we know. Grant, the floor is yours.
It's the little things in life, right? Just like getting a little bit of time to connect with some others in the room. So hopefully y'all had a good amount of time just to chat, connect, get to know each other a little bit. And we're kind of curious, as we always are, what's top of mind for you all? Either successes, challenges, or if there's anything else that's floating out there in the ether. So would anybody be willing to share highlights from your FaceTime together?
Sure.
Go ahead, Chris.
So I think one of the big takeaways for me was that one of the folks I was with, they have a regularly scheduled meeting on Mondays with all of their mentees and go over lesson planning and rubric and making rubrics and that sort of thing. I thought, that there probably should be a regular, like, mentee meeting type thing that I do at a central location we can all meet at.
That's a pretty cool idea.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. What else is top of mind for us? Ooh, lack of urgency on the part of candidates. Oh my goodness. The struggle is real, right, Carrie?
I'll speak up for a second.
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
I don't know if it was brought up in the group about how to get people, mentees, more active, and especially the ones that maybe are already working and already getting paid, and trying to get them to stay after school. And that was one of the issues. And I had some good news this morning. One of my guys, and this was the carrot in front of the cart deal, is he's been working with me most of the semester at nighttime after he works a full-time job, comes in at night, works from, we talk like from 5:30 to 6 and prep, and then from 6 to 10:20 is my class. And he's with me the whole night, has been for darn near the whole semester over at a college. And we got him through HR, and HR called him this morning. So now he's going to be employed with us. So it's just some good news for us. So it works. So thank you, everybody, Chris and Grant. Appreciate it.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic. Very cool.
I can definitely appreciate that. One thing that's, I don't want to say weird, but like one thing I've noticed recently at this new site that I'm working at is that a majority of our like health science teachers, and we have a team of 5 in our program, they're all still currently nurses, like they're like full working PRN shifts outside of being a teacher on the daily. Like, holy monkey, that's a lot. So how they keep it up is kind of crazy. Is there anything else out there that stands out for y'all from your conversations?
I have something in the chat from Carrie.
Oh yeah.
Says something I'm struggling with is a lack of urgency on part of candidates. They don't seem to really care that assignments are due.
Yeah. Coming back to that piece is interesting. It always makes me wonder, as the critical educator, what's the value of those assignments in the first place, right? And that, like, some of them, and we know this as leaders and mentors, if we've ever been involved with like induction experiences, sometimes we just have to do certain things, right? And it's just that quote unquote red tape of stuff. But how do we look at them, and that urgency piece? Oh man, there's so much that goes into that it's hard to build into some of our teachers that's a struggle for sure. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit more with Ms. Hernandez as we look at goals and setting things into the end of this year and into next year. So you see how I did that? I just teed y'all up wonderfully.
Perfect segue. Beautiful. Well, fantastic. So with that being said, good job on that segue there, Grant. I am happy to introduce, not this video again. There we go. One of my, no joke, top 5 favorite people in the entire world. Everybody always says, who mentors the mentor? That would be Elena for me. She is the person who mentors me. We have we have our own standing meeting that we try to do every week, to where she just says, Chris, what are your successes? What are your challenges? And so as much mentoring as I get to do, she is the one who mentors me. And the reason why is because she is the marvelous mentor. Those of you who may know her or may not know her, she actually ran CTE Teach for 8 years. Is that correct? So prior to myself, and Deidre, the year prior, Elena Hernandez ran CTE Teach for about 8 years. She did a phenomenal job. I have not met one person who she has mentored who has said they have just loved everything about her. They go back to think about just how wonderful and how important she was for their development. So all that being said, you have a high bar now to try to stand up to. Right. I'm just kidding.
You think?
She really is a marvelous mentor, and I'm glad that she's here to talk with us. And Elena, I'm going to stop sharing, and
oh my goodness,
yours.
So I get to share?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you giving me share? I got to figure out. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Oh my goodness. It's so nice to be back in CTE Teach and doing this webinar. I will have to. Gosh, Chris, I don't know what to say. I mean, thank you for those kind words. I hope that I live up to your kind words today in this webinar. And I want to just give a little preface. I did not come to the table with Marvelous Mentor. That was given to me by Christopher McClung. So I don't take that around to everywhere I go and say I'm the Marvelous Mentor, but I truly enjoy my job. And it's where what feeds my soul. If the closer I can be to teachers, the better. So yeah, Chris and I make great partners, and I miss CTE Teach greatly. I see some names that I recognize from way back when, or I've seen you at other places. But welcome everybody. I'm going to try to share. Let's see if I can do this, and we're going to get started. Okay. Now, can we see it? Yay! All right. So, first I want to tell you, yes, we're going to talk about goal setting. We're going to talk a little bit about looking backwards and looking in that rear view mirror to see how did your year go. But Chris asked me to do this, and I had to think really hard. Okay, so what do I want to tell you? So I want to preface this by saying that we will reflect. We are going to talk about setting goals. We're going to talk about preparing for next year, and we're going to do it in what I call PechaKucha style. And if you don't know what that means, I'm going to explain that in a minute. But what I'm going to tell you is all science, Elena. So it is from my own personal experiences of being a mentor and an administrator and a coach, and just out of a desire to make teachers better. So you won't find any of this in any type of PD book. It is strictly from my experience, and I think those make the best presentation. So I want to start off by saying that and giving you that. And if you don't know what PechaKucha is, it is Japanese for chit chat. And it means that there are pictures and no words. And so my slideshow today for you are no words. You are going to get pictures with a small commentary that relates to goal setting and reflecting and preparing for next year. So I've done this in the classroom. I've done this through the teacher induction programs, and it's a great way to do trainings for your teachers and to have your students do it. Anytime I give a presentation, and Chris knows this because I drill it into his head, anytime we present, I always want to make sure that my audience can take something back. Because if I'm just giving you stuff and you're just reading and you're not taking anything from what I'm giving you, it doesn't have a purpose. So at least this PechaKucha style, if you've never heard of it, you can take it back to your offices and your classrooms, and you can have your students do it. You can have your teachers do it, or you can host a workshop, but it should be only 20 slides, and you only get 20 seconds per slide to talk about them. I don't even think I have 20 today. I'm really close, but it's supposed to be quick and fast and not 45 minutes per slide. So with that said, I'm Elena Hernandez, and I do have words on this first slide, but I am tried to define myself here. I'm a mentor, I'm a teacher, I'm an administrator, I'm a gym rat, I am a Leo. I do love beer and Diet Coke and all things vintage. So that's me in a nutshell. And I do like Chris McClung. He's a pretty good guy. So anyways, let's move on. So you have a clock here, ladies and gentlemen. I have 7 to 10 minutes, or I should say 7 to 10 minutes is the longest block of time that you guys will pay attention to me. So I am going to do this rather quick, and I am going to hope to engage you within, maybe we'll go a little over 10 minutes, but 7 to 10 minutes is all that your audience will pay attention to you. Otherwise, they start playing with their phone, they're checking email, they're doing whatever, they're figuring out what they're going to do next. So remember that when you are presenting to people or your teachers, 7 to 10 minutes is all we have to really capture you. And then the rest is, you're not going to listen. So I'm hoping that you will listen, and I will try to be as quick as possible. So with that, we are going to start. And this is what I want you to do first. I want everybody to take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And this is where we're going to start, because it's really nice to start in a mindful place and be ready to go. So when we are looking at preparing for next year, we need to look at where we are today. So ladies and gentlemen, this is how I currently feel. So if you can relate to any one of these pictures, whether you are just completely overwhelmed and you put your face on the floor, or you just want to cry and scream into a pillow, I can relate. So if you will do me a favor, maybe James can help me with this. If you can type into chat, how are you feeling right now? And it can be one word, it can be 2 words. You can tell me you don't like teaching, you don't like life, it's the greatest thing ever. But how are you feeling right now? And I'll give you a couple seconds to this. Everybody has to do this. James, you have to do this. Chris, you have to do this. And maybe, James, you can help me read some of them.
Let me know when you're ready for me to read some.
Okay. In a couple of seconds. I will tell you, there's a little special thing about these pictures. These are not my children. This is one of Chris's daughters, Adeline. And these are real pictures, you guys. This was not found on some Google site. These are real pictures that he took of Adeline. And if you know Adeline, this is perfect. This is Adeline every day.
She is a July baby, much like yourself.
Yes. So we tend to feel the same way. We get along really, really well, me and Adeline, and we're just misunderstood sometimes, I think. All right, James, we're ready. What do we have?
Got quite a few overwhelmed, lots of tired, ready for the summer. Vacation is coming. Yeah, a lot of overwhelmed, sleepy, hopeful.
Okay, that's a good one.
Where do I begin?
How do I begin?
That's another one. Exasperated, burned out.
Yes.
So yeah.
So if you feel any of these things, obviously you do, it is 100% okay. You are at the end of the year. You are at the end of the year of coming back into in-person instruction. So I understand if you didn't feel these things, I would be kind of worried, because we are all exhausted. I am not in the classroom anymore, but I am physically and emotionally and spiritually exhausted as an administrator, and all of the things that are on my plate. So I understand being a teacher in the trenches or a mentor in the trenches, you are definitely feeling these things, and it's completely okay. We'll get you out of it. So that's where I wanted to start, is really recognizing where what you guys are feeling, and that's okay. Totally okay. All right. So this is the first thing that I do. So this is what what I do if I'm trying to reflect, and I try really, really hard to talk to teachers about reflecting and how to make their practice better. And so one of the ways that we do that is just pausing and taking a look back. How did the year go? What worked for you guys? What didn't work for you guys? If you could sum up the year besides being overwhelmed, what would you call it? And so I have entered, or no, I've put in a word cloud here. So you really need to look back and talk about, so what did the year look like? Okay, so we're gonna do a word cloud. So if you could go to menti.com and put in the code, one word, maybe 2 words. I use 2 words. How would you describe your year? I used overwhelming and blessed. See if I can get in this too. Scattered, fast, busy. I love that. Scattered. Semi-successful, crazy, fast, productive, chaos, transitional, ridiculous. Love that. Challenging, endured, intuitive, hard, survived. Yes, you survived. Intuitive, hard, rewarding. Very nice. Anybody else? I'm waiting. So does this kind of sum up what you guys are all? I kind of like seeing this. I do like these semi-successful, all of them. It means that you guys are thinking, and yeah, although it's been a hard and busy year, it's also been rewarding. It's also been productive. Growth. Oh my gosh, we're going to talk about growth, where we need to grow. So very nice. So thank you for doing that. I would describe mine as definitely a busy year. I saw students doing great things in the classroom. I saw teachers doing great things in the classroom, but overall, I think definitely overwhelmed and definitely blessed to get to do what I do. All right, let me get you guys out of this and get you back into, there we go. Okay, so the second thing that we want to do is we want to look at what our professional and personal accomplishments were this year. So if you say you survived the year, that is number 1 on my list. I survived this year. Well, I'm going to survive it because it's almost done. I worked 12 months, Chris works 12 months. So it's surviving that teacher 10 months is what I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to get to the finish line, which is just a couple weeks away. But personally, I finished clearing my admin credential last October. So that was a good accomplishment, and it's now done. So I'm a full-fledged administrator, which is part scary and part relief. This is a picture of me. I successfully completed some races. My husband and I do a lot of races and events and crazy things that Chris just doesn't understand why we do. But this was last month in Tempe, Arizona. We did the Pat Tillman race, which is 4.2 miles. And this almost 51-year-old woman averages about a 9-minute mile. And so I take that as a personal accomplishment for me. And then I built some really great relationships with my teachers. I got better at having difficult conversations. So think about that for a second. You guys are all in positions to have difficult conversations with teachers. How good are you at it? Because let me tell you, it is extremely difficult to have a difficult conversation. And I feel like I am growing and I am getting better in that regard. I also, I did something differently this year, which I feel like is a professional success, is I put the onus of teacher evaluations back on the teacher. So I sent them their performance evaluation and I told them, list 2 to 3 things, how you meet each of these 6 standards, and then give me a rating. Where do you think that you rate? And it's really, really fun to see teachers' feedback, because I was thinking, why shouldn't the teacher have some input into their evaluation? And Chris is one of the teachers that I supervise, and I hope it was a good experience for him. It was interesting to see all of their responses, and I'm actually using them in their real evaluation. So when they meet with me in the next couple of weeks, nothing in there is going to be a surprise. It should never be a gotcha. So I feel like that is definitely a professional accomplishment of mine. I want you guys to think about, when you're preparing for next year, What are your personal and your professional accomplishments? We both know that what happens at home and the things that we like to do all spill over into our work life. We come to work, we talk about where we're going, what we did, our struggles, our personal issues at home with family or kids who are driving us crazy. And so all of those things help you be a better teacher, administrator, mentor. And so we really have to pay attention to also our personal part, our personal life. So take some time to think about your personal and your professional accomplishments this year. Okay. Next step is, where do you need to change? What do you need to do differently? Hence the butterfly. What do you need to do differently to be a better teacher, a better mentor, a better administrator? What needs to change for next year? Like, I really kind of need to do better at this, but what do you need to change? And so I'm going to ask Chris to put you guys back into breakout rooms. And then I want you to talk within your group about what do you want to do differently, or what, and here's the difference, is what needs to change. And then when we get back, I'll tell you what I need to change moving forward to make me a better administrator. All right, Chris, and we'll just give them, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. All right, can I ask somebody to share what they need to change or what you want to do differently next year? Who wants to volunteer?
I'll go.
Okay, thank you.
I just think overall everybody just taking on a lot, being the best teacher we can be in the classroom, plus our other jobs outside the classroom, being mentor teachers, etc. Giving it our all to individually, these different roles we play, and time, making our time worth that while. I think we all kind of had the same notion of being better with different avenues. So learning to figure that out and bring our best forth to the table, and being able to say no to certain things so we can invest in our other jobs and the best that we're able to. So.
Oh, Ashley, you bring up such a good point. So saying no, which is not part of my slides, but you have to protect your time, mentors. You have to protect your time. So, what do you need to do versus what you would like to do versus, you can't do everything. So protecting your time is so taking care of yourself. Anyone else? Can I get one more person to share what they need to do differently next year?
So one of the people in the group that I was working in mentioned that they want to have more time with their mentees to work on this reflection piece. They like that. They think that that needs to be something that has to be integrated. They're doing all of the other pieces, but the reflection piece is really not there. So that they want to incorporate that. That's the change that they had decided.
Good one. Thank you, Chris Barta, for sharing. Yes, absolutely. You have to make the time to do the reflecting for sure. All right. I know that personally, I need to be in classrooms more. I manage the largest district that we have here at CRIROP, and across 3 campuses. Next year it will be 4. And that might not seem like a lot, but I need to be in classrooms more. Chris might disagree. Colton kind of tells me, Elena, we've seen you 12 times this week. It's okay. But so I definitely need to be in classrooms more, and then I need to prioritize my work more efficiently. So if you were to see my desk, I have sticky notes, and my sticky notes have sticky notes, and my lists have lists. So I definitely need to prioritize, because it seems like everything is an emergency. Oh, that's Chris's desk, so he understands. There's the sticky notes. So definitely prioritize and then be in classrooms more. That's what I'm working on for next year. All right, so we're moving on. Our next step is taking stock. So in what areas would you like to grow? And so thinking about what you need to do differently in the previous slide, where do you want to grow? So where are the avenues, or where are the things that, oh man, I don't know anything about FRISK training if you're an administrator, that FRISK, or I want to get better at writing performance evaluations or doing classroom observations. So where are the areas that you would like to grow? That has to be part of your reflection process for the year. Or what didn't you get a chance to do? I know that I need, and I've been told this, but I need to sometimes think more like a manager / administrator rather than a teacher. And I put that with a ... sort of. I will always, always first and foremost be a teacher, and I will always make decisions for what's best for teachers. However, as I done this administrator thing for a few years now, I really sometimes need to have that 40,000-foot view, and I have to make tough decisions sometimes. So I know that I definitely need to grow in that area and really recognizing, okay, is it my teacher hat now, or is it my manager hat? So when I'm making difficult budget decisions or discipline decisions, it's definitely with that manager hat on, and that takes practice and that takes growth. And so I'm definitely ready and willing to grow in that area. And then I think if we're being completely transparent, and maybe you guys need to ask yourself this too, I am a fierce fighter for my teachers. And when you get me behind closed doors in management meetings, and Chris Barta and Chris McClung has seen this a little bit, maybe not so much Chris Barta. I mean, I come out as a bear, and I really, really, really have to step back sometimes and really work on listening to hear versus listening to respond. Because if I hear something that's coming down the pipeline that, oh, that's just not good for teachers, my immediate reaction is to let me tell you why not, instead of really, really listening to figure out, okay, this might be a good thing after all. And that's just because my default is I'm a teacher, and that's, 18 years in the high school classroom. And so I'm always going to advocate for teachers, and that's a good thing. So I'm not going to lose all of it, but sometimes I need to change my view and how I'm listening to what's going on. So those are my two things for taking stock. I hope that you guys can take some time to figure out, so where are the areas that you need to grow, and then go ask for that help. Go ask to be trained, to be sent to professional development in regards to certain things, to attend a conference, to talk about wellness and becoming better informed about wellness in your classroom, things like that. Whatever it is, in what area you have to grow, but you will never do that unless you ask for the opportunity to do so. And I bet your district or someone there is willing to help you with that, even your mentor for you guys. So with that, our next step is, this is not my home and this is not my office. And I didn't take this picture from Chris McClung's home either. So decluttering your space. So ladies and gentlemen, I ask you, what does your office, your classroom, your cubicle, what does it look like? And more importantly, what does it say about you? So when somebody walks through your classroom door, walks through your office door, what message are you giving? I'm a mess. My things are neat and organized. I've got some things on the wall that reflect who I am as a person. My diplomas are on the wall or not on the wall. You see some books behind me. You can't really see the nicest side of my office right now. What does your office or classroom say about you? That has to be part of your reflection for the school year. And what do you need to do to make your space better? I really want people to enter my office and go, okay, this is like a pretty cool place to be. It's soft and it's friendly and it's nice. Chris, you've got a nice office back there. You've got a nice little closet back there. So what does it say? Or I've seen an office that looked like, if you've ever been in biology, and they have the quotes on the wall, but they're covered from floor to ceiling. I love quotes. I'm a quote girl, but not floor to ceiling quotes. So I wouldn't, but I've seen an office like that. So what is it that your office says about you, and what would people think walking into your classroom that has to be part of your reflection for next year? So where do you need to declutter? Because you declutter your space, you declutter your mind. At least that's Elena's science. So I feel better when my office, my classroom is neat and clean and organized, and it looks like a place where I get work done. So remember that as you're moving forward. And how could you make it better? What could you clean? What could you add in? What you could bring? Chris has a big comfy chair in his office for people just to sit down and relax. I love it. I can't show you right now, but I've coined the term here, the crying chair. I have a nice cushy velvety chair where if you sit in it, you can't be seen if my office door is open. So I have that as you can come in and you can use my crying chair and we won't ask questions. And so do you have something where your mentors your mentees can just come and it's a safe space. So think about those types of things when you are reflecting for next year. All right. So goal setting goals for next year. I tried to find a picture that didn't have the word goals on it for this PechaKucha, and it's kind of difficult, but here you go. What are you going to focus on? Think for a second where you need to grow, where you need to improve, decluttering your space, your personal and professional accomplishments. So what are you going to focus on? And when we did the word wall, we had all of this stuff. You're overwhelmed, you're tired, you are burnt out. So we can't focus on 12 things, but we can focus on 1 or 2 things. And I promise you, if you just focus on 1 or 2 things, your chances of actually succeeding and making your goal are going to be even higher. So think about, I'm just going to work on 1 thing. I'm just going to work on being in classrooms more. And that's it. And maybe you quantify that by, I'm going to be in classrooms 3 times a week. I'm going to be in classrooms on Mondays and Fridays. I haven't figured out personally what that is for me, but on my list is I'm going to focus on being in classrooms more. And then I personally need to get formal observations and teacher evaluations done earlier because I am presently still working on them. And we're at the end of the year. I'm not working on observations, but I'm working on teacher evals. So what are you going to focus on? Just 1 or 2 things. And then also, I'm going to throw a 3rd thing in for mine, and I want you guys to all do that. Give yourself a break. You've been working really, really hard, plain and simple. Give yourself a break. What you do is great work. You have been working hard since distance learning, even harder, I think, because when we came back, it wasn't the same coming back to in-person instruction. So just give yourself a break and know that you're doing well. So that should have to be part of your goals. We're almost done. Okay, so let's tie it up and put a pretty little bow on it, and we'll get you guys out of here. So just kind of looking back at what we talked about, I talked about reflection and pausing to look back. Remember that rear view mirror. So what did you see this year? All right. Professional and personal accomplishments. What did you do well, both in and out of the classroom? I know all of you guys do things outside of the classroom. So what do you do well? And what did you do well inside your classroom? If you just survived, that's perfect. You can just survive. What needs to change? What do you need to do differently? Was our 3rd slide. Where do you need to take stock? In what areas do you want to grow? Decluttering your space. How can you make your office or classroom better? And then setting goals. Where are you going to focus on? What areas are you going to focus on for next year? And make them just 1 or 2. And you guys give yourself a break. You're doing a really, really, really great job. I'm going to finish up here by showing you something that I usually do at the end of my presentations. Is I really like to know what people are reading. I'm a fan of the hard book, and I want it in my hands. And so I tend to share what I am reading with my audience. So these are either I've read them or I'm currently reading them. I am a huge Brene Brown fan. If you have not heard of her, go out and grab as many books of hers as you possibly can. Her Dare to Lead. Gosh, you guys are all leaders. You should be reading that book. And if it doesn't resonate with you, I don't know what to say, but definitely pick up Dare to Lead. I love Hamish Brewer and Relentless. I'm almost done with that, but he has just changed how schools work, or how his schools work. Love that. Coaching for Equity. Chris, Coaching for Equity. Got anything to say about that one?
On its way.
It's on its way. So you guys are all getting Coaching for Equity. Love this book. As coaches, gosh, if you ever thought about the word equity, this is something that you need to read. So Coaching for Equity. The Power of Regret, and that's by Daniel Pink. I'm just started this one, How Looking Backward Moves Us Forward. Brene Brown, Atlas of the Heart is great. Let Them Lead. I haven't forgotten about these last 2, but Let Them Lead. Unexpected Lessons in Leadership from America's Worst Hockey Team. That's a really great one. I just finished, no kidding, last week I just finished Untamed by Glennon Doyle. Gosh, you guys, look her up and read it. It's definitely profound. And I would be remiss if I did not put Teach Like a Pirate, which is not a new book, but has pretty much transformed how I do professional development. And I kind of roped Chris into Teach Like a Pirate, and we went all up and down the state doing Teach Like a Pirate and Teach and Tech Like a Pirate and Play Like a Pirate. And Chris, I don't know what else we did, but we did a lot of pirate stuff. So this book started it all, and we don't get paid to talk about any of these books, but I think it's nice to share always what people are reading. So if you like any of these, we have linked to Amazon, all of these books, so you can find them easily. And I think, Chris, will you share the presentation with them? Okay, so you'll have access to these links, but, and if you don't like the book, tell me why, but these are great, really, really, really great books. So with that, I am going to wrap it up, and I'm going to leave you here. Whenever I do a presentation, I like to leave my audience someplace, and whether it's a quote or a video or something, I just feel like I need to end it. I need to close just like we would ask our teachers to close a lesson. This is how I close my presentation for you guys today, but this is where I'm going to leave you. So if you look at this picture as a mentor, this is where you often meet most of your new teachers. So they're hesitating to jump in. They might need a little help. So think about when you are a new teacher, and this is where you're the mentor in the pool, and this is where you're meeting most of your new teachers, is right here. And then your new teacher decides to jump in, but has no idea how the water is going to feel and what is waiting for them once they hit the bottom. And if you all know, because you guys have been there and you're in the classrooms too, this could be a scary place, especially if you can't see what's coming. And then lastly, and finally, with your coaching, your new teacher jumps into the deep end and swims. And so I leave you here, teacher mentees, to jump, you guys, to take chances, even if they're not sure of the outcome. I guarantee you they are waiting for you to assure them that the water is fine. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I am 100% done. I don't know how long that was, but I thank you from the Marvelous Mentor. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You can connect with me on Twitter and whatever else he put down there, Instagram, I suppose, at Elena to Teach. And look for me. I'm going to be doing some PD, I think in the desert for K-Rock and a couple other things this summer for Cry-Rock teachers. I'm going to be working on, if you've ever heard of it, because I hadn't, it's called Motivating Students Who Don't Care. So I will be bringing forth a presentation on that. Chris doesn't even know that yet. So that will be good stuff. And you might see me at a conference with this as well. So thank you, you guys. I appreciate your time. I hope it was definitely worth it. And I hope that you gained some valuable knowledge. So thank you. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Grant. Thank you, James. Thank you for having me. And we'll see you all soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Marvelous mentor. Like I said, outstanding job. Absolutely mentors from the heart. And so we'll wrap up with just a couple things here, and I will send this out once we have the video rendered for everyone, and I'll get Elena's slides, and we'll kind of share all this information out that you guys can review later on. And this is a cool thing to sit down and like really think about, what do you want your next year to be? And so she's giving you some fantastic tools to really start with that process, you know, reflecting and how you can evolve for next year. So the big thing we have is we want to encourage you, if you've not already done so, make sure you are registered for our webinar next week. It will not be as long. It's going to start at 3:30. It'll be done by 4:30. But in that, we are going to just quickly go over the resources we have, kind of get your feedback on the program, any ideas you guys might want to share with us, or just what your experience was. We always like to get that data and just really use that to do our own reflecting and our own goal setting that we have for the year coming. And we're going to share with you what is in store for CTE Teach next year. We're adding some new things that I'm kind of excited about. We've kind of sprinkled in conversations about them over the last couple of months, but we'll very much share with you what we have for the next year's program. And then lastly, we are also going to go over the invoicing process. So I sent an email to those who are in administrators, just how we're going to kind of wrap up, do the invoicing, the stipends, all that kind of stuff. So this is all of our, we always say, this is our media stuff. Please feel free to follow us, to connect with us. This will be on YouTube, like I said, hopefully in just a day or so. And then all of the other webinars we've done this year are still there for if you want to go back and see them, including the technology one we just did last month. That whole thing is there for you guys to watch again if you want to, and all the stuff he shared is clickable in that video. So Grant, would you mind wrapping us up?
The good stuff here. This is Chris and I love going through this feedback. An FYI. So take a moment to fill out the exit ticket, and it's just a quick survey trying to understand your experience during this seminar, because we reflect in the moment on what happens, what your experience was, and everything else. So if you fill this out, then we'll definitely consider it and think about how we might be able to make the advisory a little bit better, or our first webinar next year. So thank you.
I just put it in chat, so you guys should be able to just click on it. Oh, James did as well. Good job, James. Click on it real quick, give us some feedback. Any questions before we wrap up? No, everybody's shaking their heads. All right. Well, then here is our contact information. This is our last session, other than our advisory next week. But this is it for CTE Teach monthly webinars.